Hi Leroy, thank you for booking with me. I'm just gonna jump right into the reading because I see no point in intros. Okay, so let's start with your love life. Okay, so what do you see for Leroy's love life? Okay, so there's quite a few. I see that you're recovering. It feels like a very much like a recovery period for you. Like you took some hard blows. It's represented here by the 10 of arrows. I feel like it was a long time coming just by how many arrows there are here. I feel like this was just, there was a buildup in the relationship and it just needed that one more push for it to end. And I feel like that's exactly what happened. Like it was just that one last thing that caused the relationship to just go left. I'm seeing that you, right now, you kind of have to work on balancing your work and your finances. Because you can tend to spend a little more time somewhere, either more time at work or more time at home, but you tend to overcompensate for where there's a lack of. And right now, since I don't feel like you fully have gone through the healing process when it comes to your past relationship, and you're kind of using your work or your home life or doing something to try to cope with it. I feel like, yeah, here it's like trying to nurture yourself. You need to really nurture those emotions, nurture that. What's left there feels very raw. It feels like an open wound right now. Like if someone were to tell you something, it would kind of reopen the wound again, or you would kind of not be surprised and be hurt all over again. It feels like those emotions are still very real and still very raw for you. So right now it's literally about getting back to that emotional stability, but really recognizing those emotions and really nurturing those emotions is what I'm getting from the Queen of Cups. You are going to be taking some time off, I feel like, from dating or just anything serious for a while, because here the Ace of Cups is telling me that you need to go through that you're rebuilding that emotional newness, that you're nurturing yourself. I feel it as the way I see this card is a very fill yourself up card. Like recognize what needs to be healed, heal it, and then move forward. I'm feeling like there's an impasse here with the Two of Staves. Like there's something to be overcome when it comes to this healing. Is it going to be easy? Of course not. I feel like you are going to have some blunders along the way. There's going to be questioning, and I feel like you need full closure. Like you only got somewhat closure, but I feel like you need the full closure, and I don't feel like you're going to get that from going back to your relationship. I feel like this is something that you're going to have to build over time, that you're going to have to recognize the wounds, try to address them and not try to run from them, try to nurture yourself emotionally, and then you're gonna have to decide if you're ready to move forward from this, or if you're not ready, what else needs to be addressed. Because this feels like you can make two decisions here. You can either choose to move forward and start opening yourself up to dating, or take a step back and just stay in the shadows for a bit. I don't mean the shadows, but I mean like stay back and just let the emotions run its course, which I feel like it's something that you have to work on. I feel like sometimes it might not hit you all at once, but eventually it does catch back up to you in terms of your love life. Now let's see what we got for, I'm going to do career and finances separately because I know you wanted like a general for finances. So let me just try to do career. Ooh. Sir. I feel like you're going to need to gather some more skill sets. Like you're not... When it comes to your career, you're going to need to gather some more skill sets, whether that's going back to school or taking an apprenticeship or trying a new job that hasn't that's going to give you certain skill sets, or maybe even an internship. But this feels more like you're going to jump right into gaining more knowledge. I think you said you were in school, don't quote me, but I feel like you're going to need something extra in here for what you're going to be doing. And the reason I say that is because the Four of Staves here is reversed. So that means that you're not fully complete yet, whether it's in the education, in the skill sets, but you're going to need to take a separate course for you, or an additional course for you to really gain that knowledge that you're seeking. And that's also here with the Two of Arrows. That's deciding if you're going to take another course, deciding whether to move on to, let's say, a different major, or add another major in there, or just add another class that's really going to solidify you. And I don't know if it's going to be, because I'm getting language, so I'm not sure if you want to add like a language course, or you're thinking about doing something that would be that would require you to speak another language. But it does feel like you're going to need to add this into your already educational, for you to really, you know, reach that place that you want to get to. I feel like it's just gonna be that little sprinkle of you know, that little icing on the cake, basically. Yeah, it's basically going to be the little icing on the cake that you're going to need to really step your game up when you do graduate, or when you do decide that, you know, like, your education is important, and when you really do decide what field or what job you want to go into after you do finish your education. So I do see you picking something up. Let me see if they have any more to say. Oh, yeah. See, I got the Fool and the Five of Cups. So what the Fool is telling me is that it'll just open another doorway to you. And I feel like if you don't decide to take on something else, it's gonna have you feeling like, oh, why didn't I take that opportunity? I feel like you're gonna say, like, oh, I should have taken these opportunities when I had the chance to. But I feel like you really need to grab one more course in there, just because of the Magician's placement here. That's like the first thing. It says if you do this now, later you won't have to go through this, which is what it's feeling like. If you so I'm definitely relating this to your schooling. So yeah, make sure that if there's if it's gonna put you ahead of the game, you go ahead and you do it. I feel like for you, if you want to do it, you can do it. I feel like it's a very self-motivational thing with you. Things that don't really interest you will take the back route. But with this, I feel like it's just going to benefit you in the long run. And look, this is the only card that was up, by the way. So with the King of Arrows, I'm feeling like it's that mental stimulation. I feel like that's very much you, that mental stimulation, that, you know, that planning is very much you. I feel like it's just basically solidifying everything for me. It's telling me if you want to have that little extra sprinkle at the top so you don't regret it later, you might as well do it now. Especially when I feel like this is very much relating to an extra course that you might want to take, or an extra skill set that you want to pick up. So just make sure that if you know people that are studying what you're trying to study, that you do your research on it. I feel like doing your research on it is really going to help in terms of deciding what extra course or what extra curriculum you're going to take. And this is school-wise, by the way. Okay. Now, let's see about your finances. This one, I'm gonna see how in depth I can go, how much information will be revealed to me. Oh my God. sir. What is going on? Ooh. Let's see. You need to be more meticulous on your finances. I feel like I've said this before and I'll say it again. You definitely need to be more meticulous on your finances. I know finances, I don't feel like finances are hard for you right now. Let's see. Yeah, but something needs to change when it comes to your finances. I'm going to show you right now. Ooh, ooh. Oof. Okay. All right. So I have Judgment here. Four of Swords. Temptation. Four of Staves. I have Death. Ace of Cups. Queen of Swords. And Ace of Pentacles. So what I'm feeling is like you need to take careful inventory of what your finances is going, and I'm getting that from Judgment. From Judgment and Temptation. You can tend to, I don't want to say over splurge, but sometimes if something, I don't want to say you're careless with your finances either. I don't feel like that's the word. I feel like the word is if you want it, you'll buy it. That's the word. And not in an impulsive manner. You're like, okay, you know, finances are important for you and you are meticulous with them, but you just need to be more careful about where you do invest and where this money really is going and how your finances are going to be for the long term. Which here, the Four of Staves, I feel like you need to build that long term and you'll eventually find a way to do it. Like the Ace of Pentacles is about new. It's about new financial gain, new financial venture. But first, you have to make some changes. And right now, you're not willing to make any changes. I feel like maybe you either want to move out or there's something that you want to do in regards to finances that is going to require you to be more precautious, more meticulous with them. It definitely feels like an investment is going to come in the future. I'm not sure if there's going to be a financial investment or this is just, I feel like it's maybe that investment that we were talking about with your education, but you're going to have to be very meticulous with your finances and really contemplate on where you're going to go with them. How are you going to make this money? How are you going to be more particular with your finances, and how are you going to build this for the long term, you know? I have the Ace of Cups here. So that's that. I feel like the Ace of Cups is very much saying, like, especially when it's clarifying the Four of Arrows, it's just making sure that you're in alignment with what you want, with what you're looking for. You're not, I don't want to call you out for splurging on a woman, but the Queen of Swords normally represents a woman. And this woman could be an air sign, so, but I also feel like it's that mental clarity. So if it's not a woman, it's that mental clarity. Making sure that when you do spend, you don't spend out of whim, that it's really something that you need, and it's not, you know, because I want it, I can have it. Because I do feel like you will make some sort of investment, whether it's on career or moving somewhere else in your apartment, moving somewhere else into a different apartment. But I do see you having to make some changes around your finances, or deciding to make some cuts, because I do feel like you need some cuts here and there. Like, you really need to be for you right now. And I feel like when the Ace of Cups comes up, it's telling you, hey, hey, you really need to be for you. And it came up in the past reading. You see, this card is following you because it's telling you really be about you right now, really be about your finances, and make sure that you are going where you need to be, you know? Yes, it's okay to mope. Yes, it's okay to feel bad some days, but don't forget your overall goal. Don't forget about you. Don't overinvest in anybody else but you. And I feel like this Ace of Cups in this finances is saying, hey, I need attention. I need front and center right here when it comes to your finances, because there's things that you want to accomplish, especially when I talked about the schooling. I do feel like you're going to make some sort of move, though. I definitely feel like in regards to your home life, because the Four of Staves, the Four of Wands is very much indicative to your home life. And I feel like there's going to be either you will move out separately or move into somewhere else. And that's going to be like some financial, I don't want to say a setback, but it's going to cause you to, you know, spend a little more. So you have to be very, very meticulous on this. I feel this might come more towards the end of the year or maybe towards January, but I do feel this happening for you. So just make sure that you're on the lookout with that. Look, I see that. You're looking out. This is it. This is you looking out into the future, trying to see where you're going to go from here. Especially, I feel like for you, it's about long-term plans and how you can grow your finances and how you can be where you want to be. And that's why that rest period is also very important for you. I feel like this rest period is telling you, like, meditate on it, or really figure out where you're going with your finances. Yeah. Let me see what your advice is, though. Oh. What advice do you have? Whoa. Judgment is here again. See? What did I say? And then it's the Four of Cups. Making sure that any financial... It's basically telling you, be harsh on your finances, but don't... Not harsh, but be particular about your finances, but don't let the setbacks get to you. Just know that it's a minor setback, that you will eventually pick yourself up again, but you have to make sure that you can control what you can. Don't let the setbacks hold you back from doing what you need to do. And I feel like that's very indicative, because this is you, like, this is setbacks that you can dwell on. And I feel like any financial setback that you have, you can dwell on it for too long, trying to learn the lesson, when the lesson might just be about you, like, I did what I could, and now I'm gonna do what I can to mend it, or to make it better, or to make sure that next time I'm not stuck in the same situation. So don't dwell on the setbacks. Let's see for your spirituality. Sorry, I hate being quiet. I'm shuffling cards, but I'm really hard for focusing. Sir. Okay, this card was at the bottom. So, all right. So I have Three of Cups, Prince of Arrows, Triumph, and Nine of Arrows. So what I'm getting from this is I feel like you have to really enjoy your spiritual path. That's what I'm getting for the Three of Cups. Like, you can tend to be a little harsh on yourself, or feel like maybe the universe isn't working in your favor, especially when things go wrong. But you have faith. I feel like you do have faith. Even I feel like in dark times you can, even if you feel like things aren't going your right way, you you can still feel connected in some way, or you feel like that's where you reach out to. You reach out to your spirituality when things aren't going the right way. And you really have a very solid inner strength with you. I feel like you just have to recognize it, and rely on that, and try to see how you could connect with that. I feel like with men, it's finding that masculine energy that kind of gets you through. It's that, I call it like a father energy kind of sense, like very sturdy, very stable, very reliable. And I feel like you have to connect that with your spirituality. I think you feeling stable in yourself, feeling stable, feeling solid faith is gonna be key for you to overcome challenges, to not feel like the universe is not working in your favor, because it always is, even when you feel like it's not. So just finding solid faith in yourself and in the day-to-day to get you through, and celebrating how far you've come. I feel like you may have just went to being kind of believing into it, to really solidly having faith in this. Spirituality isn't about like having faith in having faith in, basically it's having faith in yourself. I digress. It's having faith in yourself, and having faith that everything is working for you. And I feel like you've come from a place where you maybe you didn't feel like it was like that before, and now you're starting to really find that strength within yourself. Yeah, of course you have doubts. I feel this card just makes me feel like when things aren't going right, you tend to have doubts, but that's still that little nagging voice that says, hey, things are still going to be okay. Things are still working out in your favor. And it's just really trusting and believing in that voice, and kind of just I want to say getting out of your head, getting out of that mental clutter, so that you could really see that is going to be key for you. Now let me see what to expect next month. Oof, oof, oof. This one's going to be a little harder on you emotionally. Again, that's that indecision. I feel like you might hear from your ex, or yeah, you might hear from your ex, or you might see her, and she might make an appearance in some way. And then it's just going to bring a lot of old feelings back, and it's going to bring that maybe you don't feel like you can fully let go yet. Sorry, like I tend to talk while I pull cards. There's gonna be an impatience here, like a oh man, yeah, that impatience is prevalent here. I feel like you guys aren't done. Like there's hurt there that hasn't fully been acknowledged, or you haven't fully come to terms with this. And yeah, you're still hurt, but I feel like you still care about her, and you're not willing to fully let go of this. I feel like in your head sometimes you might say, hey, you know, it's said and done and I'm ready to go, but there's still that very much push and pull, and the regrets that are still lying there. And I feel like you ultimately have to make the decision of what you want this to be. I feel like that's why you're feeling conflicted in some way. I feel like you need mental clarity, or you need to make sure that it wasn't you. It very much feels like you want to take part of the blame, but you know that there's exterior forces that may be at play, but you still want to make sure that it's not you. And it's that validation that's being very like push and pull. I feel like you need to let go of that mental betrayal. You need to let go of that that restless peace of mind that you might have gotten, because as soon as you do, you kind of just open yourself up to being more about you. Let me see what else I got here. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I feel like, man, if she tries to talk to you, keep yourself at a distance, because you're already hurt. I feel like that hurt is still very prevalent there. Look at the Three of Swords. And you wanna let her in, and you wanna get that closure, but I feel like it's just gonna hurt you more in the long run. I feel like say your piece, and when your piece is done, keep it moving. I feel like, do you have her blocked right now? I feel like maybe there's a lack of communication and you're not trying to see her, she's not trying to see you, but somebody will reach to somebody. It's feeling like that's going to be a possibility, and it's going to kind of throw you off your balance a little bit. So just make sure that you're putting you first, that you get what you need, but that you don't beat a dead horse, basically. I feel like I have an oracle message for you, so don't go anywhere. Not like you have a choice, but don't go anywhere. Ugh. I hate when these oracle cards are... I promise you these things write themselves. Oh. I'm telling you, these things write themselves. This one says the worst is behind you. And what did I say? Make sure... Then you're done. It's saying the worst is behind you. There's new experiences that are coming for you. And it says, let yourself receive. Allow others receive without guilt, receive without apology. So if there's people that are willing to acknowledge you, there's friends that are saying, hey, I know you've been going through a hard time. You let those people in. It's not a sign of weakness. It's just a sign of you, needing a little more extra attention, And it says, pay attention. Pay attention. So pay attention to any signs, any dreams, anything that you're receiving at this moment. Like I said, didn't I say that there was going to be facts revealed to you? I did. I said that you might need, that things are going to be revealed to you, and, you might experience that hurt all over again. But just tranquility is here too. Make sure that you make that time. Tranquility, to me, feels very much like the Ace of Cups. It's putting yourself first. And it's literally telling you, the worst is behind you. Let people help you. Pay attention, but don't overly focus. And take some time off for you. You need to take off some time for you, sir. I know you want to work. I know you want to be financially stable, but you also need to make sure that you are good mentally, emotionally, because that's gonna, create the overall theme for you for the next 6 months. I feel like in the next 6 months, there's gonna be some big changes for you. But you need to let yourself go through the motions, go through the hurt, go through the heal, and allow yourself to, really focus on what you need right now. I feel like this is big. You like to focus on other people, but right now it's all about you. Okay? And that is it for you, sir. If you need anything, please message me on Twitter. Reply to me directly through email, okay? Thank you. Bye.